You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly pop and geek culture show covering movies, TV, games, and comics. Now your hosts, Cody Pinnick, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that's sad that Halloween's over, but is excited for other holidays to creep into the picture.
Oh, did you say other holidays are creeping in?
I did.
Oh, you're dancing on a fine line there, Cody.
Exactly. Anyway, I'm Cody.
I'm Sam.
I'm Josh.
We have an excellent show for you this week. A bunch of news to talk about, including an update on the Bayonetta 3 news, some show cancellations, some casting stuff, all sorts of fun things to talk about. So stick around for that. But first, let's talk about some things we've been checking out.
Check it out!
And what you don't know, listeners at home, we all do a tiny dance in our seats whenever we play the Check It Out music.
I want a little sound effect, just for old time's sake.
Just for old time's sake? Let me see if I can help you out with that.
That's no good.
Just like the upcoming Sonic game will probably be.
Right?
A guy I work with took off PTO to play it.
Oh.
Apparently he's a huge Sonic fan.
Well, you know what I have to say.
him.
You know what I have to say to that.
That's no good.
It doesn't look I'm here for it if it's good. I'll play a good Sonic game.
It looks very empty.
I enjoyed the weird
Sonic
last
Forces?
one. Sonic Forces. I had fun
yeah.
with that.
Was that really the last one?
With the recruit, the
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah.
Where you can make your OC don't steal?
Yeah, I like that. That was fun. And the game was serviceable enough. I got it for cheap. It was fine.
Was that really the last official Sonic game?
I think
Yeah,
so.
I think so.
Other than Mania.
Yeah.
Or no, Mania came out before
Mania
it
came
did.
out before because they abandoned. There were. It technically kind of ties into Mania, but they abandoned it halfway. The Ruby that created Chaos, the Fox, is the same Ruby from Mania.
Huh.
That's
Yeah.
And at the end, Sonic disappears through a portal, which
Yeah.
and then he later shows up in Forces.
Yeah.
But if you can get Forces for $5-10, it's worth it for the bonkers stupid story and the character creator.
Oh, sure.
But this doesn't even look like it's gonna be that fun. It just looks empty and sad.
Yeah, just wide open spaces to run around and do not much else in.
Wide open spaces.
It's like they wanted to do a Breath of the Wild without thinking about what made that game fun.
Yeah, like content.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there are some parts of Breath of the Wild that feel pretty empty as well. Especially when you get to a point where it's kind of a slog between villages.
But you know what? That's the fun part of that.
Well,
though,
yeah, there's also the
traversing
exploration.
Yeah, the exploration.
There's always wonder what's on that mountain, or there's some kind of
or
I can see a shrine over there.
And the fact that it takes time to get anywhere with Sonic, you just run there.
Yeah.
You just
gotta
run
go fast.
You gotta go fast. So I've checked out a couple things this week. So Halloween was it was earlier this week, but a lot of
It was
Halloween
Monday.
stuff
It was Monday.
kind of went on
Monday, yeah.
last weekend. So actually went up to Mansfield. The Mansfield Art Center did their first ever Crow Fest, which is a new yearly festival that they're doing. Apparently a bunch of crows migrate to the woods behind the art center every year, so they decided to build a tiny festival with food trucks and paintings and stuff like that.
I'm here for it.
From local artists.
I love crows.
Yeah,
I love
crows are
ravens.
cool.
I like
They're-
Corvid or Corvids.
Yeah.
Not Covids.
Not Covids.
Yeah,
Corvids.
not Corvids, yes. And it included the newest cryptid on the block. New cryptid dropping. It's the Mansfield Birdman.
So Michael Keaton was there?
Yeah, right. yeah. But no, they're trying to make a spooky Halloween-esque.
They're trying to do a Mothman.
They're trying to do a
Mansfield.
Mothman on Mansfield, and it's not going to stick.
It
they're
didn't happen
trying.
organically.
Yeah,
It didn't.
There's no Birdman stories for Mansfield that I'm aware
as far
of.
as I know, all I know is that a man in a bad bird costume stood on top of the art center and threw pumpkins at people.
Well, there you go. That was the first sighting.
That was
I
the
guess.
first sighting of the Mansfield Birdman. Yeah, it was really inorganic how they introduced him as well, because they did an actual crow calling contest. A couple people got up and if they could make the crows in the field behind them call back to them, they got a little award or something.
Well, that's kind of cute.
And that's kind of cute. And then the host had a duck call that she was calling a crow call, and she like a very long bird call, and then the Mansfield Birdman appeared and threw a pumpkin at people. So
you can't just inorganically create a cryptid for your town without there being an actual sighting.
Yeah.
I mean, of all the cryptids that exist in Ohio, there are a few.
Mm-hmm. A lot of Bigfoot.
Well, yeah, there's the was it the Ohio grass ape?
Yep.
There's the
Loveland frog.
I was just getting ready to say the Loveland frogman. There's supposedly a sea hag that lives up on Lake Erie.
Sure.
There's a game about the Loveland frogmen.
Oh, really?
On Steam. I forget
nice.
what it's called, but it looks neat.
Huh.
But so yeah, the other thing we did that evening went to a live showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Nice.
I had seen it before in theater. Jordan had never seen it. And so we got to experience all of that. People brought all of the props to throw to the screen. There was one guy
a Rocky Horror show.
Oh, yeah. Very, very much. One guy was very into it and knew everything.
Was it more tolerable than when I went to see it and we had that guy right behind us that like knew every line and was screaming them with like no change to his voice? It was just a very monotone scream.
There was a guy that was close to that, but he was all the way on the other side of the theater, so it wasn't as bad. The worst thing that happened is the ladies behind us who were clearly there the first time, but went online and got everything. We got hosed down with silly string.
Oh no!
They sat behind us and sprayed silly string.
Boo.
But otherwise, Rocky Horror Picture Show. Great movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It has been a
classic.
long time since I've seen Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I've only seen it like 1.5 of times.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But I also like...
Hey, at least it's something you've seen.
Yeah. I also know the soundtrack extremely well because I've listened to that more times than I've seen the movie.
I feel like a lot of people just kind of get it through like cultural osmosis.
At this point, yeah, there are a lot of that. There were a lot of people in costume. A lot of people showed up as Frankenfurter. They dressed up as... there were a lot of Brad and Janet.
I mean, that's easy.
Yeah. Also, quite a few Eddies with the leather jacket. With one very, very well made, like movie accurate Eddie jacket with the tiger print on the inside and all the buttons and stuff. It was,
okay.
And the head wound. They had a fake head wound on. It was really cool.
I feel like the first time that I saw it, when I just saw half of it, I was not ready for it.
Oh, sure. Well, the first time I saw it was down in Studio 35, and it was a roving troupe that goes along with it. And before
the Fishnet Mafia?
The Fishnet Mafia, and they do a whole bit before the movie starts, and it was borderline cringe. And I was like, I was half expecting that, but no, they just played the Mansfield, Playhouse. They just played the movie, and it was great.
Oh, they didn't shadow cast it.
They didn't shadow cast it. They didn't. They didn't embarrass a bunch of first timers or anything.
Oh
like
my
that.
God, that was awful.
Oh, that was the worst.
I'm glad I had the technicality that I had seen half of it, so I didn't have to go up there and.
Well, that's what I mentioned to Jordan. I said, hey, this might be a thing that happens. Whatever you do,
don't say anything.
Pretend like you've seen it before.
Yeah,
because it's cringe-inducing. Yeah, it's bad.
They had people taking their pants off up there, and I'm like, I'm not taking my pants off in front of a theater.
Yeah,
for free.
Yeah, pay me.
Yeah,
but no, did that, and I guess this is another check them out. I'm talking a lot. Give me a second.
It's all right.
I rewatched going back to more Adult Swim shows that used to watch back in the day. Rewatched all 6 episodes of Garth Marenghi's Darkplace.
Oh, classic.
Classic.
They're doing more. Or a book. He wrote a book.
He wrote a book. That's what kind of spurred it.
That's going to be so good.
Oh, it's going to be great. So Garth Marenghi's Darkplace is a show within a show. It is a comedy actor who is pretending to be author, actor, director, writer, singer, bon vivant, Garth Marenghi.
He's like an exaggerated Stephen King.
Yes, very much so. And it's him presenting old episodes of his canceled 80s horror soap opera, The Darkplace.
Which sounds a lot like Dark Shadows.
Yeah, it has a lot of Dark Shadows vibes. It has a lot of old Doctor Who vibes with the purposely bad effects. And there are it's intercut with interviews with Garth Marenghi and his producer
Dean Lerner, I think is his name. Yeah, he's played by Richard Ayoade, who is always hilarious,
always great. The entire cast was great.
It's got a killer cast.
Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows is one of the major
I'll
characters.
watch anything that has Matt Berry in it, man. He's so funny.
It's so good. Noel Fielding was in an episode as the Ape Man.
People only know him from Bake Off now.
They do. He does a good job on Bake Off.
He is good on Bake Off.
These newer seasons, he's the only reason to watch it because I'll let you in on a secret. I don't like Matt Lucas.
He was good on Doctor Who when he was on Doctor Who for a while.
But he also had that really cringy like sketch comedy show he did.
Oh, Little Britain.
Oh yeah. Don't go back and watch Little Britain.
No.
That does not hold up.
No, not at all.
No,
it's all the problematic jokes about old English comedy.
Yeah, I liked on Bake Off. I liked Noel better when he was the goofy sidekick instead of having to be kind of the straight man to Matt Lucas being the weird one. Anyway, Garth Marenghi's Darkplace is great, and if you watch it, there are intercut with the interviews and stuff like that. You get like a world building with that, like something happened to the main female lead of Darkplace, and Dean, he kind of hints that he knows where the body's buried. And like there's one whole episode that is a thinly veiled Garth Marenghi working through his problems with the Scottish. Like Scottish ghosts come back and
High Spirits?
Yeah. And
Is it Liam Neeson?
I know writers who use subtext and they're cowards.
And they're cowards. But no, the show's great. It's only 6 episodes, and yeah, the book's coming out here. It's the guy who made the show is writing a Garth Marenghi book, and it's gonna be wonderful. I hope they do more Darkplace. They've been petitioning for him to try to get more done. Yeah.
So speaking of Halloween, I watched the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
I did too.
Oh, nice. How was it?
It wasn't bad, though.
Which is a high praise for Simpsons episodes these days.
But a couple of the stories they were riffing on, I had not seen.
Oh,
I have never seen the Babadook.
I have seen the Babadook. It was not a good parody of the Babadook.
Okay,
okay.
Because that one was called the Bookadook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Marge gets possessed by a demon that tries to kill Maggie.
Oh,
it was real.
She got duked.
It was real weak.
Yeah, it was like all the jokes you would expect somebody making a parody of the Babadook to make.
Sure.
The Death Note one was pretty good.
It was good.
I saw bits of animation from that. It was animated by the same studio that did the
Death Note.
The Death Note anime.
Yeah, it's real. Like Lisa wears like the beige like jacket, like Light wears the whole show. They really like animated, like it was weird. It was like watching an anime with Simpsons voice actors. It was awkward.
And there was tons of like, if you paid attention in the background, there's tons of classic Simpsons
references.
Characters
Nice.
walking around.
Not only that, but they kind of made like Japanese cultural like observations.
Yeah.
Like Homer's like having a drink with his boss, as it even says the line like, because it is a culture. It's what's culturally expected or whatever.
Right. Sure.
I didn't like Anime Marge. I felt like they could have did a better job.
That's true.
It wasn't reminiscent of her character design
at all.
Yeah.
She just looked like an anime housewife with blue hair. It's not even tall hair.
Yeah.
It's just blue.
It's just blue. Okay.
At least Homer looked like Homer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clip I saw, Homer looked like
Homer looked
Burns
like,
was pretty good too.
Yeah, Mr. Burns looked like Mr. Burns.
Nice.
I didn't even realize that the first criminal that Lisa kills was
Snake.
Yeah, Snake, the
town criminal.
The town criminal.
Yeah.
Until he talked, I was like, oh, that's who that's supposed to be? All right.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what happened. He's like, oh, I'm having a heart attack.
The Westworld parody at the end, though, the last one they did, I laughed harder at that than I have anything The Simpsons has done in 10 years.
Really?
Oh yeah, because the whole Westworld thing is it's a theme park themed after The Simpsons.
Yeah. There's
interesting.
Simpsons robots in a Simpsons theme park, and they're constantly making callbacks.
To old bits.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was a really good one.
And they do it in they frame it in such a way where it doesn't feel like they're just saying, "Hey, remember that?" They're like, because the robots think it sucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they have like an iPad and they gain like there's like a sentience slider.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then like Homer like slides it all the way up on Lisa, and she has a horrible existential crisis, and he's like
geez.
on the floor like just incapacitated. He's like, "Oops," and he like slides it back a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
And she's like, "Okay, I'm fine with it now."
Okay, that's cool.
But there's a part where the Homer robot that's gained sentience is trying to escape, and some tourists corner him next to a hedge, and they want him to slide back into the hedge,
it?
like the meme.
They're like,
And he's just like, "I'm so sick of this hedge."
they're like pushing him. He's like, "Get in your hedge, get in your hedge," and he like slides into it, but then he slides back out, and he grabs them, and he's like, "I'm sick of this hedge," and he throws them into it, and it turns them into meat juice.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was actually a surprisingly kind of bloody Simpsons Halloween special.
Oh, that's
Like more so than regular.
They can get away with it, so that's why not?
Yeah, it's worth watching for the Westworld bit alone.
Yeah, it sounds great.
the jokes on that one was really solid. And then us being like big Death Note fans, I like the anime too, but it's like it was the first anime that Nicole ever watched, so she was like,
Real into it.
it was her thing.
I've watched all of Death Note. That's good.
Oh yeah, that last arc is terrible.
Yeah.
I hate the last bit of Death Note.
I've
The
seen-
ending,
I've seen the live action Netflix film,
which is absolutely terrible.
the American one.
which is
Sorry.
absolutely terrible.
Sure
The way
is.
they introduced Bart as L is very good too.
Oh,
'cause
really?
They're like, "It's L," and then Lisa's like, "That's not L. That's El Barto."
Oh, Barto. Nice. Nice.
But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by how much I liked it.
Yeah. I think it was like, what, 3 stories?
Yeah.
They usually are 3 stories.
Yeah.
And the episode previous to that, I also watched because I thought it was Treehouse of Horror, but it's not really.
Mm-hmm.
It was a full-on half-hour It parody.
Oh, really?
It was okay.
Yeah. So a Simpsons episode.
Yeah, it was the Simpsons
It was
episode.
okay.
Let's see. Speaking of the Scottish,
Okay.
we watched the newest season of Big Mouth. 'Cause I didn't realize it was coming out.
Okay.
And Peter Capaldi is a reoccurring character on this season.
Oh, really? All right.
He plays the one character's Scottish grandfather.
That's
Who-
pretty fun. I can
is
see
pretty
that
good.
being pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his whole thing is the character is Nick Birch, and his dad is like a doctor who is a very in touch with his feelings, and
Sure.
the constant gag in the show is he is the soft daddy or whatever.
Oh, okay.
His
Never say that term again.
trust me, it's just
You
as
have to
hard
bleep that out.
Yeah.
it's hard to watch it in the show. So anyway, but the reason he's like that is because his Scottish father was like a man's man, and he was really
A hard daddy, as you would.
yes, and actually that phrase is used.
I hate that too.
Yeah.
Like Peter Griffin's father that died.
Yes, but worse. Because he's all about the ancient Scottish sport of nipple twisting.
You know,
Okay.
I forgot
It's
about
Big Mouth. It's Big Mouth.
I forgot about that character from Family Guy until this very moment.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he punches the Pope.
He does. That's true.
Yeah. I remember that episode. And then,
Also, Cotton from King of the Hill.
oh, yeah, there's definitely the whole thing of like adult animated cartoon dads are terrible.
He's not Scottish though.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not Scottish, but he's
Like, I was watching it.
had his
and
shins blown off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
You know.
you kill Fitty Man. I love King of the Hill. So
I wish
good.
they would bring it back. Honestly,
They keep talking
They
about
keep talking
it.
about it. They
Give
want
me
to.
a time skipped King of the Hill. It works for Beavis and Butthead very well. I thought. I loved old Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. Oh,
There
what?
was a really good episode of the new Beavis and Butthead where Beavis goes on like a spiritual journey,
Oh, nice.
like to find religion.
Okay.
Oh.
because he gets a nacho chip that looks like it has Jesus on it. And he's like, well, maybe I need to figure out who this guy, this Jesus thing, because then maybe I'll score.
Of course.
And he goes around to basically every organized religion in town to try and find what works for him. And it was a very good, like,
Interesting.
well thought out plot line for Beavis and Butthead.
Huh. No, that's awesome.
They've done a couple episodes where Beavis just kind of leaves Butthead behind, and it's funnier for it.
Really?
It's kind of funnier because Butthead is a lot of negative energy.
Yeah.
Well, and he's always like bullying Beavis.
Yeah,
That's the way it was in the old days.
Yeah, it's still like that, and it's nice to see Beavis just kind of strike out on his own and just be a total idiot
On his own.
on his own. Yeah,
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh man. I watched a clip recently. It was they were doing the WAP music video.
Oh.
yeah. Oh, we played that the other day. Last time we recorded, they did Cold Steel videos.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff.
Having their music video segments also include YouTube videos is perfect.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it definitely is a natural progression of what they used to do.
It's where music videos are now anyway.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
It's right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Marvel Snap is a one-on-one digital card game that you can play on your phone or computer that actually surprised me with how much I love it.
Yeah, you've been real into it here the
Yeah.
last couple days.
And I am not a card game guy. I've tried to play like Magic in the past, and I definitely I've played Pokemon in the past, but it never sticks. I never get really
always
into it.
Sure.
I always liked Hearthstone. I thought Hearthstone was a solid digital card game.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Hearthstone, but I don't care about Warcraft enough.
That was the thing.
for
I like Warcraft.
Yeah,
so.
for the setting to appeal, but I do like Marvel Comics characters, and that's what this is. And it's almost Hearthstone adjacent.
It kind of is, yeah.
but it's quicker and more accessible.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, plus, like, the game doesn't make you buy a bunch of card packs, which is kind of nice. Like, you can, well, kind of, sort of. You can get, like, different variant faces of your cards. And,
Yeah, it's not even random what cards you get. Like, you get a set at the beginning, and then every time you, like, level up your collection level, which you get by upgrading your cards, you get a set of card, like, you get a set card.
Preset.
Yeah.
And then
Amount of cards.
eventually,
Okay.
higher up the chain, you get mystery cards, but I think everybody gets the same mystery cards.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not until, like, way up the chain, there's, like, the collector's stash, and those are randomized cards.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
But, like, they're way up there.
Yeah, you've been posting a few of them. The art looks pretty neat.
Honestly, I wasn't even paying attention, and I thought you were the one posting.
Oh, jeez, yeah. But yeah,
Not yet. You haven't started
I
playing
haven't started
yet.
playing yet. I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet. But they've gone pretty deep with some of the characters. Well, you posted a Strong Guy from the X-Men. No one knows who's... Well, I mean, I know who Strong Guy is. But no
I
one
didn't.
knows who Strong Guy is.
There's what got me into it is I saw some random post online about the Uncle Ben card.
Oh, no.
Yeah. If the uncle it's either when you destroy or sacrifice the Uncle Ben card, you can summon a Spider-Man.
I mean, that makes sense. That is
Mechanically.
thematically appropriate.
Yeah.
Mechanically appropriate. For
But
the
it's
game.
also kind of like, aw.
Yeah.
The cards' actions represent the characters, like, pretty well,
Okay.
too, as much as
good.
you can with the mechanics.
Yeah.
All of the Guardians are dumb.
Oh, the Guardians get bonuses based on if another person plays a card in the same space on that turn.
Oh.
So it's kind of a gamble on the Guardians.
Yeah, interesting.
Because that's part of the game is you know what card you laid down, but your opponent won't know what card you've laid down until there's like a flip after their turn is over.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The game works. There's 3 locations in the middle of the screen. And to win the game, you have to win the most locations. And you get points on the locations by the power levels on the cards.
Oh, sure.
So if you play a 3 power domino, that gets you 3 in that location.
Gotcha.
And the cards all have different effects that move
Sometimes,
cards to other
sometimes.
places or increase the power on cards that are
interesting.
there.
Interesting.
So you want to manipulate the cards you have in that you've played to have higher power levels or move them to other places. And on top of that, the locations have different effects on the cards when you play them. So, there's one like a Gamma Lab, which makes it so on the 4th turn, all of the cards that you've played in that area turn into the Hulk.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and there's only 6 rounds.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's super
pretty
fast.
quick. Okay. Right
And then
on.
there's the snap mechanic too, which plays like a bluff. You can use it as a bluff, or when you think you know you're going to win, you do a snap and you'll get more victory points at the end.
Interesting.
But you could also lose those points if you snap and lose.
Oh, okay.
So you can
Okay.
use it as a bluff on the other player too.
So my question is, have you gotten a Gambit card yet?
No, I haven't. I didn't think about that. There definitely should be
There
a
should
Gambit
be a
card.
Gambit
Probably
card.
is. I mean, you have a Jubilee card.
It's true. I love how it's not MCU focused.
It's very
At
comic
all.
focused.
It's
It's
very
comic focused.
comic.
Okay,
That's what made me leery about it. It's like I don't want to just be like there's 15 Iron Mans, and
Yeah.
it's very comic focused.
Cool.
Like I have a few of like the goofy looking like cartoon variant.
Yeah, I love the pixel variants.
Oh, yeah, those
There's
ones are good,
pixel
too.
art versions. I have a pixel Punisher that's pretty cool.
Like other than like, kind of like almost like the collector mentality of it, you can get variant art faces of your cards.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I mean, they have the same powers as the regular card, but you can get ones that just look distinctly a little different.
Yeah, and that's what the card upgrading is for. It's not for making the cards more powerful in the game, because that would unbalance it.
Yeah.
It just makes them look cooler.
Look cooler. Okay, I like that.
Like the regular version of the card just looks like a card.
And so that makes the game's monetary system totally optional.
Yeah.
the most
Oh,
part.
yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
You get 50 free credits every day from the little shop.
Mm-hmm.
And then you spend those credits basically just on variant covers
okay.
And those upgrades.
and upgrade points to upgrade your cards.
No, that's awesome.
And all it really does is your first upgrade breaks the frame, so the art kind of pops out of the card a little bit. And then the next one makes it 3D.
So you can move your phone and the background has like a little parallax
interesting.
to
Parallax
it.
thing. All right.
And
Right
then the
on.
next one will like make it slightly animated. So like
Oh, see, I haven't gotten that. I haven't gotten that far yet.
the Jessica Jones card, it's raining in the background, and
Oh,
if you
neat.
unlock the animation, then the rain is
It rains.
animated.
All right. All right.
Then the logos get shiny, and then the borders on the card get animated. It's stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also get you can collect card backs, like different card backs.
Oh, interesting.
And so like it'll like your opponent will see your card back and things like that.
Okay. Cool.
It's not a bad little game. Honestly, it's not quite a gotcha mechanic or anything like
It doesn't
that.
sound like it.
But
It just sounds fun.
but it's it's easy. It's not there are some combos that are pretty awesome, but honestly, depending on how you play it and how the field evolves when the different locations get revealed, you might just flip. You might be losing, and all of a sudden you flip around and you get a bunch of bonus points for stupidity.
Oh, cool. Very cool. All right. Well, hey, let's take a break here. When we get back, we'll get into some news.
The marketing department at WZMO suggested I do a new cutting-edge promo for Long Play. You know, short, quick, concise, to the point. Here goes. You're invited to tune in to Long Play, Friday night at 11, Saturday afternoon at 3. Great music, fantastic host, often referred to as the Casey Kasem of Marion. Full albums, front to back, here on WZMO. Whew, did it. Finished before I got cut off.
Hey, we are back from the break. Let's dig into some of our news.
Jackpot.
Is this the beginning of the clips again?
The clip, maybe.
Who knows?
I kind of miss them.
I kind of miss them too. It was a nice break. I might have to find some new clips because I still have all the old clips.
But it's been long enough. They feel new.
Yeah,
They got that new clip smell.
they do. They got that new clip stank.
Anyway,
news. Let's get into some stuff. We should do probably the short follow-up to our Bayonetta 3 news
Yes.
from a couple weeks ago. So we reported a few weeks ago that the original voice of the character Bayonetta, Helena Taylor, called for a boycott of the game because she claimed that she was being unfairly treated and was not being paid enough to have her come back for the third game. And at the time, we speculated that maybe she was not reporting things quite as truthfully as she made them seem.
I mean, there was a lot of conflicting reports from her and from
there was a Bloomberg report.
article, yeah.
And Jason Schreier, who's a big time video game newsman, who is usually right about this kind of stuff.
Right.
Backed up the Bloomberg report.
Yeah, essentially, she claimed that she was offered $4,000 to voice the entirety of Bayonetta 3. The Bloomberg report came back and said, no, it was more like $4,000 per session, and there'd be 4 to 5 sessions in total. So the number is closer to $15,000 to $20,000, which is still, I mean, it's fine. It's definitely a decent amount. And that when she turned that number down because she requested a 6-figure sum, she was then offered, okay, you can do a smaller voice as a cameo, 1 session for $4,000. And that's what she was basing her claim off of. As it turns out, Bloomberg was absolutely correct. And she eventually did go on Twitter and say, okay, yeah, no, I did lie about it, but I'm still right, though.
in a way.
In a way, yeah. It was...
And she's also kind of seemingly gone off the deep end.
Well, as it turns out, there were some... She made a lot of other baseless accusations about things that we don't really want to get into because they're pretty gnarly stuff. They're not fun. They're not fun talking points.
Yeah.
And it gets political.
It gets political
yeah.
and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah, but the fact of the matter is, her claim was kind of baseless a little bit.
And it kind of shows why maybe they didn't want to work with her again.
It does.
They weren't all that excited to work with her again.
Right. And from what I understand, now that Bayonetta 3 is out, for the part that she would have been cameoing for, $4,000 was very generous because it was 3 lines of dialogue. Literally 3 lines of dialogue. And she was going to come back and be the original Bayonetta because there's a whole multiverse thing because everything's multiverse for
right
nowadays. Yeah. But apparently they were going to have her come back and do the original voice of the Bayonetta from Bayonetta 1. And it is literally 3 lines of dialogue for $4,000.
I think
you can knock that out in 20 minutes.
I think she thinks that Bayonetta is a bigger property than it is. It is a very niche video game.
I'll tell you why she thinks that. So the amount, someone did the math. So the amount of money that she came up with saying that, oh, this is a multi-million-dollar franchise, which it's super not. It's really, I mean, at its best, it is niche.
She's not Mario.
What she did was she went online and found the total sales number of the game, like lifetime
sales, and
assumed that that the lifetime sales was at full price $60 per game. That game, Bayonetta 1 and 2, came out and was on sale for half off within a week of its release.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone bought the games at full price ever.
I might have bought the original when it came out at full price.
Oh,
No, I didn't. Now that I think about it, I GameFly'd it and then bought it for cheap off of GameFly.
Exactly.
So never mind.
Yeah. So the claim that it is a multi-million-dollar franchise is not even close to being true.
They barely
faulty math.
They barely even made a second one if Nintendo wouldn't have swooped in and offered to produce.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Bayonetta is a niche. I mean, people who play it love it, not for the story. The story is kind of crud, but the gameplay, people love those platinum games. But it is a niche product.
Yeah, they don't make a lot of character action games like that in Devil May Cry anymore. It's kind of a dying breed at the moment.
Although I've heard Bayo 3 plays almost exactly like Astral Chain.
Astral Chain's pretty good.
Like each weapon you get in the game has a different monster attached to it, and you send out the monster like Astral Chain. So Madama Butterfly just pops out of her gun.
Huh.
I don't know if I like that.
It's more Astral Chain 2 with a Bayonetta skin than it is. And I'll tell you what, the producer on Bayonetta 3 was heavily into Skybound, which was the, hey, you're a guy who's going to control a giant dragon.
Or Scalebound.
Scalebound, that's what it is.
Canceled.
Scalebound.
Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of the code base for Scalebound was just like, well, we're gonna slap a coat of paint. And
we're gonna put a hair witch on this one.
We're gonna put a tall lady in this game.
It's a shame because I like the first 2 Bayonettas. They're really solid games, but But the more and more I hear about this one, the less and less
excited you're about it.
interested I am.
The biggest thing I saw, Spear Hunter on Twitter, who is a huge champion for the Bayonetta games, was like, I played it, and it's going to take me some time to come up with my thoughts because. Anyway.
Bayonetta's always supposed to be like the number one, like the most powerful and most in control person in any room that she's in.
I hear that's an issue in Bayonetta 3 because every cutscene, whenever a boss shows up, it's Bayonetta gets attacked with a punk shot from behind because Bayonetta is so overpowered that the only way they can write
It's the sucker puncher.
is the sucker puncher. And it happens, I guess, every level. It's like half of the game's problems could be solved by looking behind you.
They had her doing that. Didn't happen in the other two games. Just do more like you did in those.
It's bad writing.
Yeah.
It's just bad writing, which I guess is on brand for a Bayonetta game.
Not that bad.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anyway,
At least the first two games together told a time loop story in kind of in a competent way.
Also, I guess the new character in Bayonetta 3, I listened to a huge review of it.
The Dante
Dante
girl.
Viola, I think is the character's name. She gets maybe 20% of the gameplay. You do like 4 or 5 levels as Bayonetta, and then you get 1 Viola level as a treat. And that's it. And you can't switch characters within other levels. It is character specific each level. So you're just kind of locked into it. And apparently she just plays kind of boring because instead of having all the magic and the guns and the weapons and stuff, samurai sword.
I thought she was supposed to have guns.
No.
Oh, that's lame.
Nope, samurai sword, and sometimes she can send her samurai sword out like what's his name from Mortal Kombat or Donovan from Darkstalkers. Yeah.
okay.
Takeshi. No, not Takeshi.
The
blind guy. The blind guy
Oh.
who can telekinetically throw his sword out.
He has a very like white people naming an Asian character name, like all Mortal
Like
Kombat
all
characters
Mortal Kombat characters. Takeda.
That's not that bad. It's not Kung Lao,
It's not Kung Lao.
Raiden,
Bo Rai Cho.
Bo Rai Cho. That I pronounce it's Raiden.
Raiden.
Too. I pronounce
Yeah.
it Raiden,
It's
which
Raiden.
is how you would pronounce it. But
Yeah.
it's Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat rules. There's no rules just right. Anyway, let's move on to some other stuff. Pick one from the list. We have a whole list.
So, speaking of characters who are getting replaced,
Oh, sure.
there is a new season of The Witcher coming.
Oh, yes.
The Netflix Witcher series.
Season 4.
Yes. But Henry Cavill is stepping down as...
He's gonna be in the next season.
okay, he is in the
It's
next
the one
season.
after that.
The one after
Right.
that. Yeah, sorry.
So season 3 is coming out. He's going to be in season 3.
Yes,
Season
four.
4 is the one they're working on now. And
Yes.
He will not be in that.
Yeah, he is stepping down, and Liam Hemsworth, Chris Hemsworth's
Not
brother.
Thor.
Yeah, the not Thor. Is
Thor's brother.
Thor's brother.
Also Thor.
Also Thor. Actor Thor.
Actor Thor. Yes, yes.
Or Gale from the Hunger Games, if you're into those, is going to play Geralt, the Witcher.
Is going to play Geraldo Rivera.
Geraldo of Rivia.
Yeah.
Geralt of Rivia.
I don't know, I was fishing for a joke there and it didn't come out.
It's
didn't
all right.
happen.
It's all right. Hey, that's all right.
A lot of people are very mad about this, but I don't see it as a problem.
I don't either. Henry Cavill's a good actor, and I kind of am behind the reason he is leaving, or at least the reason he is giving that he's leaving. Henry Cavill's a huge nerd. He paints miniatures. He
does
builds
Warhammer.
PCs. He,
He
does
does all
Warhammer.
kinds of stuff.
He plays video games, and
He
is
knows what The Witcher is before it was a Netflix show.
he was a huge Witcher video game player, and he read all the Witcher books. And part of the thing that was in his contract, he said, "Okay, yeah, I'll do The Witcher. I love the character, as long as we stay truthful to the character from the books and games." That was his whole. That was the only stipulation. As long as you write him to be that character that I love, I will play this character forever. The writers for season 4 have decided to go off book. And he said, okay, I think I'm good. That's the whole reason behind it. Well, that and it seems like they're going to be bringing him back as Superman in the DC universe in a more lighthearted, not Zack Snyder fashion, which is
Good.
Yeah.
which I'm happy about. No one else is happy about, but I'm happy about.
I'm tired of all like the bros on the internet like clamoring, thinking that the Snyderverse is like some kind of cinema
Or
masterpiece.
anything that's realistic is immediately better because it's realistic.
Brooding doesn't necessarily denote
Quality.
more quality. And a lot of people seem to miss that.
Brooding works for Batman. It doesn't work for every character in
It's
the
not
DC.
Superman. It's not who Superman
We've
is.
been over this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same talking point we've had a million times.
Shrimp heaven now. We can't do this again.
Yeah. I don't think his Geralt was bad. I think he was a perfectly good Geralt.
And he looked like the character
And he
from
looked
the game.
like him.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think there was anything special about his performance that made it seem like only Henry Cavill could do it.
Well, Henry Cavill, it seems like a perfectly good dude. He is maybe not the strongest actor. I don't think. I think he works best in an ensemble cast or when he is, say, the villain in a Mission Impossible movie where he cocks his fists like a shotgun before punching Tom Cruise, and it cocks his fist so hard that his beard grows. Have you seen that clip?
no.
Yeah, that's a real thing. I'll show it to you after the thing. It was an optical effect. It was something that they hadn't planned on doing in camera. It was just kind of the way he moved, but he like pumps his fist to get ready to fight, and the way the light hits his beard, it looks like he grows a full beard in one shot. It's actually kind of awesome.
And yet they digitally painted out a mustache.
That's true.
Justice
That's
League.
very true. But yeah, he's just not a he's not a standout kind of actor. He's a working man's actor. You know,
it felt like he was just doing an impression of the guy that does his voice in the games.
because he likes the guy who does his voice in the games.
Yeah, which is good. The guy that does his voice in the games is very good. Like I said, he didn't do a bad job, but he didn't do a job nobody else could do.
But also like, if you really go back to like The Witcher, like I've played the games.
Oh, Witcher 1 is a crazy game for crazy people.
I like The Witcher 1.
I mean, The Witcher 1 is also kind of hard to play.
That's why it's a crazy game for crazy people.
It's weird. It's really, the choices they made are very bizarre, and
Yeah.
that's kind of why I like it.
Well, I heard a rumor that they might be.
They are
remastering it?
remastering
Unreal
it, yeah.
Engine.
And
So
it's
it's going to be a crazy game for crazy people that looks nicer.
Well, I heard that it's going to be more like it's going to play more like Witcher 2 and 3.
Yeah, that was
it
their
would have
plan.
to,
Yeah,
Rather than
because-
like doing the kind of top-down thing like they did in the first
And
Witcher.
like most CD Projekt Red games, it's going to be garbage on launch.
for a year.
Don't buy the game for the first year it's out because it'll be nigh unplayable.
I'm glad that Cyberpunk has been kind of getting like a second life though because of the anime that came out that's apparently very good.
And
I
it's a
still
good thing
watched
the
it.
anime's come out at the point where the game is finally at a point where it's playable.
Yeah,
Right?
although it was always pretty playable on PC.
Well, okay, at PC.
These console peasants.
Yeah.
Me sitting here with my 12-year-old computer.
So other casting news, people getting replaced. So in the Marvel movies, William Hurt was
Thunderbolt Ross,
who was a major Hulk villain. He's actually one of the few, other than Tim Roth, who came back to play the Abomination in She-Hulk.
Yes.
William Hurt was the only carryover from the Edward Norton Hulk movie. And he had played basically the government liaison, always telling the Avengers, you need to register with the government because you keep blowing stuff up by accident. So William Hurt unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but they want to continue using the character. So they have cast Harrison Ford as his replacement. And the running theory is he is going to be playing Thunderbolt Ross in the upcoming...
Thunderbolts.
No, not Thunderbolts. No, the next Captain America movie, the one with Sam Wilson as Cap.
That would
Falcon
make
Cap.
sense, yeah.
And that he might be transitioning into the
The Red Hulk.
my least favorite Marvel Comics character, Red Hulk. It's so lame. It's so...
He's red.
He's red, and instead of getting stronger when he gets angry, he gets hotter.
Yeah.
Like physically hotter to the touch. He burns Also, they did this whole thing where he punched the Watcher and can hold Thor's hammer, and basically they did a whole bunch. They did a bunch of comics having the Red Hulk get over. That's a for wrestling term. Basically making him punk out a bunch of galactic level people.
It sounds like a kid playing a game that's like, well, you can't hit me now because I have a special armor that makes me the best one.
That's what it is.
When the Thunderbolts comics were running, there was a point where he, to fight somebody, took on not only the symbiote, he also was possessed by the spirit of vengeance from Ghost Rider.
He was a Ghost Rider Venom Hulk.
Yeah, on a giant trike.
Yes.
He was so large, someone else on his team was standing on his shoulder.
It sounds like something that a 14-year-old would be really excited about.
Mm-hmm.
The art looked like something a 15-year-old would be really excited about.
It's very bad, yeah.
It was a big flaming skull Hulk head with a venom tongue.
I think it's going to be funny to see a giant red Incredible Hulk with Harrison Ford's face pasted onto it, though.
Yeah, and like a modulated version of his voice.
Yeah,
That's going to be funny.
Like, half giving a crap voice coming out of the Hulk.
So when he's Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Or the intro to the original cut of Blade Runner.
Oh, yeah.
Those narrations he did not want to do.
Cold fish. That's what my wife called me. It's going to be that. But he signed a 3-picture deal. So he's going to be showing up at least a couple times.
I'm surprised he did that. Must have been some real good money.
Well, here's the thing. If he's going to be Red Hulk for the majority of the films,
he's just got to do voice work.
Yeah.
He's not going to have to do... They'll map his face once, and he won't be like Tatiana Maslany, where she was doing motion capture, or like Mark Ruffalo. They'll have a stuntman do the motion capture. He'll just sit in a booth
and collect a paycheck.
He'll collect a paycheck.
And then go home and build a chair out of scrap wood or like
something, whatever he does now.
Or crash another plane.
I read a story about him when he was shooting some movie. He rented a house from somebody just so he could, after he was done shooting, go home to that house and fix it up because he likes to do that.
Yeah, he likes to do that. Well, sure, that he was a handyman before he got into acting.
Which was a long time ago.
Well, sure, but I mean, you don't lose those skills.
The people said they got the house back and it was gorgeous and he didn't charge him anything because it's just something he wanted to do in his spare time.
I mean, does he want to film a movie in Marion? I got a house for him.
Yeah, I can fix mine too.
Yeah, got a few things for him to
Hey, Mr. Ford, can you hang drywall? Can you patch a roof?
Can you make my basement smell better?
I don't think anything's going to fix that. It's a basement.
It's a basement. So we have time for like 1 or 2 quick hits. So let's do a couple of quick ones here.
Let's talk about this Christmas Story movie we watched the trailer
There's
for.
a trailer for the sequel to my least favorite Christmas film of all time.
You hate Christmas Story. I like it. I think it's a pretty good movie.
I have no Christmas spirit.
I've kind of soured on it a little bit over the years just because I've just kind of gotten tired of it.
It's a lamp of a lady leg.
Well, I mean,
you'll shoot your eye out or whatever.
I feel like if like it didn't get marathoned every Christmas since like I don't know 1990.
I would still hate it. There's so many better Christmas movies out there. And I'm not talking about Die Hard. That is not a Christmas movie.
No.
It's a movie set at Christmas. There's a difference. But there's so many better Christmas movies out there. But anyway, they're making a sequel to A Christmas Story. And it seems like they got a lot of the cast back.
Like almost all of the cast that's still alive.
With the exception of Darren McGavin, who passed away. They got everyone.
And it's a time skip forward to, I don't know, like the 70s?
60s or 70s?
60s or 70s?
60s or 70s or maybe the 90s. It actually looks more like the 90s.
It's hard to tell
50s,
because
60s.
a lot of the cars still look really old, and there's like that old style TV.
But they were at his mom's house,
That's
so
true.
they could have just had
That's
an older
true.
TV.
Higbee's
I think
still
it's probably
exists.
late 80s, early 90s is my guess.
I would say 70s.
Okay. Well, you know what? There's one way to find
Yeah,
out.
it's
You
true.
guys, Vamp. I'm gonna do a look up.
I mean, it feels like the second, because this is the second trailer that's come out. This is the first real trailer that's come out for this movie. And we kind of mentioned it when we were watching it. It feels like it's not as soulless as just just some sequels 30 years after the fact.
They did do a sequel to Christmas Story, like, I don't know, 10 years ago.
And it was not good.
It was bad, and it seemed shameless. Nobody that was in the original was involved.
Yeah.
This
feels like a true sequel.
Yeah, that's what it is. This feels like the real thing.
The real thing, yeah. Let's see.
And there's a lot of moments in the trailer where it's like, yes, that is an obvious callback.
It is called A Christmas Story Christmas because they can't legally call it Christmas Story 2. There's already a Christmas Story 2. And Seth, Cody, you win the award. 30 years after the events of A Christmas Story, placing the story in the mid-70s.
That's what I thought. That was the vibe I got.
And it's a good Cleveland area story.
It's a good jump. Yeah, it's all right.
Local story, Christmas Story.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm willing to give it a chance. I was not willing to give that other sequel a chance. I saw that from a mile away and I said, no, thank you.
Yeah, I watched a trailer for that and I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Straight up just nope.
Yeah, which is the exact opposite feeling I have for this one. This one, I'm like, okay.
There seems to be more wacky stuff in this. It actually looks more like Christmas Vacation than Christmas Story. A little bit. The trailers seemed like there was more like hijinks.
Yeah, there's a lot more wacky fall downs and slapstick in there. Yeah.
And if that's the case, I'm in because I have a theory. There are two types of people: Christmas Story people and Christmas Vacation people. Now you can like both, but there's always people who like one more than the other.
It's like the Beatles and the Stones.
Yeah.
Or no, it's not Beatles. It's Beatles and Elvis.
Beatles and Elvis. Yeah, because Beatles and Stones are kind of
they're the same.
But
no, they're
not the same.
No. There's a definite quality difference there.
Yeah, but yeah, Beatles and Elvis. It's Christmas Story, Christmas Vacation. I am 100% of the Christmas Vacation camp. I am give me all that.
I'm a Christmas Story boy, but I like Christmas Vacation just fine.
Well, like I said, you can like
Yeah.
both, but there's no one who likes them equally. It's one or the other.
There was a time when liking Christmas Story was the more it was a cult movie.
Right, until they started playing
And
it
now
on
it's
TBS
not
for 48
anymore.
hours.
And there's still
prior.
people that think that I'm special because I like this movie. And it's like, not anymore.
No.
Unfortunately, no. It's not a cult movie anymore. It's as
They
mainstream
opened a
as you can
museum
get.
to it. It's not a cult
Yeah.
movie
I'll say
anymore.
every Christmas you can always find merchandise in like Walmarts and other stores of A Christmas Story. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can sometimes find Christmas Vacation stuff too, but Christmas Story definitely has more stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
It has a nostalgia to it that makes it work, and a certain sweetness that I can see people thinking is too saccharine and too corny, but I kind of like that. So,
Saccharine, corny, yeah. Get
And-
that out of my stuff. Give me satire.
and
Give
it
me.
has a kind of let's look back on the 50s like it was a good time when it not really, not for everybody. It's a lot of boomer nostalgia, I think.
To be
the
fair,
issue.
the original movie was made in the 80s, and a big thing in the 80s was nostalgia for the 50s.
Yeah.
Just kind of like how we
Sure.
now have nostalgia for the 80s or the early 90s.
Yeah.
And I hate saying it because it makes me feel even older than I already do.
90s
Yeah.
were 30 years ago.
Yep.
I know.
They could do a Christmas Story set in 1990 and the sequel would be set today and the time frame would be the same.
It's like going from like that 70s show to that 90s show.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That movie they did 8-Bit Christmas last year is very much a modern version of Christmas Story, and it's very good.
That's what it sounded like. I mean, I didn't watch it.
I went into it completely cynical, like this is just a ripoff of the Christmas Story and it's going to be dumb. It was a perfectly good Christmas movie.
Okay.
And there's a lot of bad Christmas movies that you watch knowing they're bad.
Hallmark.
And still have a good time. This was legitimately pretty good.
the Christmas Prince.
Oh, listen, those movies are great. I will not hear any.
What's the big sequel this year? Have they announced it?
I don't think they've announced it yet. I don't know. I mean, if we're going by what has been released and the release dates and stuff, I think it's going to be A Night Before Christmas 2, because they set up the end of Night Before Christmas where his buddy, also from the Middle Ages, was about to be transported to modern day.
That's true. And they're not going to get Rose McIver anymore because she's on that CBS show that's become fairly popular.
Oh, Ghosts.
Yeah, that's a good show,
That's
too.
a really good show. Yeah.
But they're not going to she's not going to do a Hallmark movie at this point.
And Vanessa Hudgens is starting to kind of branch out a little bit at this point as well. Although she was the main lead in Night Before Christmas, playing yet another Christmas Hudgens.
Yeah. They still need to do the crossover between those two movies where they find out she's the fourth twin?
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, there
A
would be the fourth.
quintuplet.
Yeah. Identical cousins.
I don't know. I think it's more like it's becoming like Christmas Hallmark Orphan Black.
I'd watch it.
Oh my god, yeah, that would be so good if
I'd watch it.
they found there's a laboratory where they're
just
cloning
cloning
Christmas Hudgens.
The Hudgens lab?
Yeah.
A huge amount of Hudgens.
We have a new Hudgens model out this year. It's the best. It's the most Christmas one we've done
It's
yet.
the Uber Hudgens.
Yeah.
It's like iPhones.
She's loose and she wants to absorb all the other Hudgenses. In a Akira style blob, almost an IKEA instead of Akira.
IKEA. She's made of IKEA meatballs. So, though, I'm going to say this, because we've already been talking about Christmas. I'm kind of excited for that stupid Violent Night movie.
Oh yeah, that looks rad.
yeah.
With David Harbour
as
as a diehard Santa.
I'm in. Yeah.
There's a Die Hard Christmas movie right there.
Yeah, that's the Die Hard Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's called Die Hard.
I'm actually looking forward to, and this is going to sound crazy because I don't like Tim Allen. I'm
Oh,
looking
the
forward
Santa
to
Claus?
the Santa Clauses.
The Santa Clauses.
Yeah. I want to see what they do with it. They're bringing Bernard back, and they're somehow going to explain why he's an adult now.
I mean, all the elves are disappearing anyway. That's like the whole shtick of this movie.
They're
Oh,
like
is that
the
what it
bees. They're like the bees.
Yeah.
They're dying and we
Well,
don't know why.
You know, it's something about
Maybe if they leave the North Pole for too long, they grow up.
well, yeah, maybe. Oh, speaking of not growing up, and this isn't on the board. And I know we're almost done. We got to be done. But did you see that the guy who made that Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey wants to do a horror version of Peter Pan?
Yeah, all right.
Why not? People went nuts for the first thing that came to your head. Why not do Peter Pan now?
You know what? It's in public domain. Might as well.
I like when people use public domain characters to do wild stuff.
Wild stuff. I mean, I don't know why it always has to default to gritty horror.
Slasher
Yeah.
horror. Slasher horror.
Why not? Why not? Hey, we got to wrap things up here. So
Like Christmas.
By Christmas.
Boy,
Yeah.
I wasn't lying at the beginning when I said other holidays were going to start to creep in.
You've been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon for all your nerd or holiday news.
I've got some bad news about the hotline. I got an email the other day that just said, "Oh, it's closed. You can't do that anymore. It's expired."
Oh, bummer.
Which is weird because I just renewed it, so
Oh.
Google just shut it down. So the existing number is not going to work anymore, but I'll get a new one going.
Okay, sounds good. So you can also find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. And finally, I'd like to thank David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
We forgot one. You can email us at staff@nerdoverload.com.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, do that too.
Merry Christmas, everybody.